All right, hello everyone. They are in. The two new perfumes that I have been so excited for are here. So we have Afternoon Delight from Replica, which is the Maison Margiela line. And I have Brown Girl Jane Carousel, which I don't think I mentioned in my most recent video talking about all the new perfumes, which I missed so many new perfumes. Let's get real. I literally could make a second one of those videos easily. But in the comments, one of you guys let me know Carousel was coming out and this had some intriguing notes. So I'm going to give you some first thoughts on these perfumes. But I also have a couple others. I'm telling you, it has been a lot of launches. And one thing I'll say, I gotta stop listening to the marketing. I think that gourmands are just so popular right now, and vanilla and all of that, and we can't trust it. That's all I gotta say. We'll get into it. But I also have Heavy Cream here from Phlur, and I also have this clean Vanilla Cloud. So I'll give you some thoughts on those and all that. So let's get into it. I'm not gonna make you wait around. Let's talk about Afternoon Delight first. So incredibly excited for this scent. I'm gonna read you the notes from the website just so you can get an idea of what I was excited for and all that. I'll also have some pictures up just because, again, I think the marketing's doing what it's supposed to do. Like, it's selling the fragrance, and like I said, I need to just be a little more aware of the fact that that's the case and maybe not have such high expectations. Maybe not, get too excited too soon. This has a Madeleine Accord, which is like kind of a cakey cookie. That's kind of what that is. Sandalwood and Madagascar vanilla. So some yummy notes in here. It's supposed to be warm and cozy. I was really hoping we'd get a nice sweet, maybe even verging on like a lactonic-y creamy scent. And I just have to say, it's just not quite there. It's just not the one for me, I will say. Like, if I smelled this before I bought it, this would not have come home with me. Let me just say that, okay? I do get some of that vanilla and even the sandalwood, but this is milky in a way that doesn't smell like sweetened milk. Like, to me, this is not an overly sweet fragrance. Do not go into it thinking that. It's delicately sweet, still has a bit of that milkiness, but there's something almost savory to the way, again, this comes off milky to me, so I don't necessarily love that. I definitely wanted something sweeter, something more overtly vanilla, and in the base, there's this powderiness that I just cannot get past. It is very powdery, verging on almost chemically to me, and I've had a similar experience to that with Ellis Brooklyn's Vanilla Milk. And as soon as I smelled this, I was like, ooh, this is doing vanilla in the way that Ellis Brooklyn Vanilla Milk is. And I like hated that fragrance. So yeah, this is definitely not a love for me. I've worn it like on my hand. I have not even done a full body because I genuinely I dislike it that much. I know it's getting worse and worse as I continue to review this, huh? Yeah, just so powdery and kind of screechy in that base that I do not find warm. I do not find it cozy. I find it just off-putting entirely. So again, it reminds me of Ellis Brooklyn Vanilla Milk. It also has some similarities, I think, to the Tom Ford Vanilla Sex, but I find that one to be sweeter. I like Vanilla Sex more than I like this, and I didn't really love Vanilla Sex. So just to give you guys my thoughts, I feel like, not everyone's gonna feel that way. I'm sure there are people who will love this because there are people who love vanilla milk and there are people who love vanilla sex. So I think that it's for people, but if you're into the super sweet vanillas like me, this is definitely different. And I was getting some reviews from you guys before I even got this in, and some of you guys were saying you love it. Others were like, I returned it. Someone said it smelled like baby spit up, and I'm like, yeah. Get a little bit of that because it's like powdery, like baby powder, but has like that milkiness. But again, it's more of like what feels like straight up milk, like no sweetness. It's just a little baby spit up milk. So yeah, not my favorite. And this is where I need to just like put my expectations into the ground, okay? I just need to go in open-minded because I think sometimes getting so excited about notes, getting so excited about the marketing can definitely disappoint. And I mean, I don't think I'm gonna come around to this anytime soon. I really don't. But yeah, I just wanna be a little more grounded with it because I just know with the popularity of gourmands, we're only gonna see more and more brands, I feel like, come out with them, and they're all gonna do their different versions and their different styles. And I do think it's good that there's different versions out there because we all smell things different, but that also means that not everyone's gonna be right for me. And this one definitely is a gourmand and a vanilla that is not my style and definitely not for me. So this is a big pass. I feel like, bad about it because I was excited about it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's here, guys. And here I am, lo and behold, hating it. And I went with the full bottle instead of the travel. So there's my disappointing thoughts on the Afternoon Delight scent. I know, I'm trying to take it the best that I can. Next, let's talk about Carousel. This is one that I heard about from you guys like initially, and then was like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get it because the notes looked so good. Also, the marketing for this one was a little all over the place. Like, it was definitely Carousel. It was showing cotton candy. There were some cake pictures. Yeah, it was giving like a carnival vibe. So I was like, heck yeah. But then I see this picture and it's pictured with like dripping strawberries. But again, let's actually look at what the notes are here, because they can really, especially with the gourmands, they can show you all the most edible, yummy, delicious things and try to tie that into their scent. But it's an interpretation and you just never know. Is it going to be totally photorealistic? Is it just going to be like vibing off of the cake, you know, or vibing off the cotton candy, but not like actually straight up cotton candy? You just never know with the marketing, and it's smart, you know, it's smart to market it. But again, those expectations can either be met or kind of like underwhelming. Anyway, the notes on Carousel. We have top notes, caramelized apple, hell yeah, sparkling black currant, spun sugar, so that cotton candy note. Heart notes, lily of the valley, coral rose, orange blossom. Base notes, sandalwood creme, cloud musk, and cherry leather. So there's some stuff going on, and I have to say I really do like this one. If you're looking for straight up only cotton candy, I don't know if it's only gonna do that, because that cherry leather note is in there, and I actually like that. I feel like it adds some depth. It adds something more to this than just a photorealistic gourmand. I feel like when I first smelled it, it was different than I thought, but when I look at all the notes, I'm like, yeah, that does make sense. And I think because that leather note's in here, I feel like it's similar. If you've smelled their Casablanca scent, there is definitely something similar about them. Like, you can tell they're from the same house, at least to my nose. That's what I get from it. But this one has those fruitier touches. So the black currant is coming through. I feel like that caramel apple also, I get that, you know, but I can't lie. This has a waxiness about it. It kind of reminds me of Carmex, but like the best Carmex you ever smelled, like a caramel apple Carmex almost, you know, like sugary and sweet, but there's still that like something going on. That's definitely there. And I'm assuming that's that cherry leather accord that's adding, again, something a little bit deeper to this fragrance. When I initially sprayed this, I thought it maybe had patchouli in it. I was like, is there a little patchouli in here? So I definitely think if you're only into super airy scents and maybe are sensitive to leather, I would for sure get your nose on it first. I wouldn't blind buy it, but I do feel like it's very likable while also elevating, you know, a caramel apple cotton candy kind of scent. Totally different than the Cirque du Soleil one that came out. That one also had some like apple, popcorn, caramel, like, you know, carnival vibes to it, but I do find them completely different. I think I prefer the Cirque du Soleil, but I do enjoy this version as well. Definitely the one I've been wearing the most. I haven't tested it out a super long time, but I get normal wear time for Brown Girl Jane. I don't feel like their stuff is that beast mode, so I get like 4-ish hours on Brown Girl Jane stuff. This Carnival, which I really enjoy. Even Casablanca, that one stays around I think a little bit more, but yeah, I like this one, okay? I do like this one. I think it's nice. Definitely get your nose on it if those notes sound good to you, but I don't necessarily think it's a safe blind buy. And just in general, again, you know, it's just good to smell in person no matter what the marketing is. That's what I'm trying to get across here, okay? I actually have 5 fragrances to talk about because I did get the Cherry Baby from Sabrina Carpenter. Let's talk about Vanilla Cloud from Clean Classic. This is like the same line as Clean Reserve. I don't know. They have just different lines within their perfume brand. And this was advertised to me on Instagram, so I was like, let me try it. Vanilla Cloud sounds so good. And it's definitely a clean scent. This has that kind of clean laundry scent to a softly sweet and just kind of cozy vanilla. It's definitely not my favorite. It's a little bit powdery. It's a little bit sharp in the way the cleanness is done. And I also find it not exact because I really love the skin scent from them. It's part of the Clean Reserve line, but I just feel like go with the skin one. That one smells so great. It does what this is trying to do with less sharpness. This has definitely like a sharp, clean laundry scent to it. I mean, this has a lot of fresher notes than just the vanilla and like the sandalwood that's in here. There's musk, some vanilla orchid. There's also some pear. There's aldehydes in here. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's kind of what I expected, but I just feel like, again, the Clean Reserve Skin is your best bet. That's the one I suggest over this. It's pretty good for a price. It's $44, but look how small this is. It's so tiny. You're definitely better off with Skin than this. So don't get sucked into the limited edition and the cutesy little packaging, unless you really want like a soapier laundry detergent version of Skin. But even then, again, it's a very small item. So not necessarily one I recommend. Not horrible though. Then we we have Heavy Cream from Phlur. I was so excited for this. This launched like slightly separate of their caramel skin and coconut skin, and they were saying it's limited edition, but I've heard that like they are gonna keep it around. So notes on this: in the top, lemon sugar marshmallow orange; in the heart, jasmine blossom coconut cream vegan amberlet tide; and then in the base, vanilla mousse salted caramel whipped cream. There was so much caramel going on in all three of these launches, and I do like this one, especially initially. I was loving it, but you guys are trying to ruin it for me. I could tell you that right now. The amount of times people have told me this smells like a Swiffer pad, I can't, you guys. It's gotten into my head a little bit. I don't even have a wet jet, okay? I don't even have a Swiffer wet jet, but I'm like, yeah, I guess I do see that. But this is a very creamy, very sweet, very lactonic fragrance. This is the fragrance here that I feel like is delivering the absolute most on the marshmallow, on the coconut cream, the vanilla mousse, the salted caramel, the whipped cream. Like, you are getting all of that in here. It's a little thick, it's very sweet, but it also does have a cleanness about it. I don't feel like I pick up on the lemon in any way that I do in things like Acro's Bake, or really any of those vanilla lemon combinations that we've seen come out. So I really don't pick up lemon like that, but I think it's interesting that it does smell like a Swiffer pad, and that is a cleaning product, even if it's not super lemony, you know what I mean? Like, it still has something kind of showery or like clean about this scent that does lift it a bit, but also, again, it's a little overwhelming. I do quite like this. The best comparisons I could give is like Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere from Philosophy, or even Sabrina Carpenter's Sweet Tooth. I do think those are very similar to this fragrance, but again, this one has almost a freshness in a way while still being thick and lactonic and very sweet that those ones don't. Although I would argue that Philosophy tends to have also kind of a freshness to their gourmands, but I prefer, I think at the end of the day, Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere. That's like definitely my top pick out of all three of those, but I honestly feel like you guys are ruining it for me with the Swiffer. Like, once that got into my head, I have now been like, whoa, whoa. That's interesting. Like, there's something a little artificial about the way the sweetness is coming off to me as I've continued to have it. So yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like these would maybe be a good combination together. Maybe I'll try that out, but I don't know. Part of me is like, I don't know if I can handle it. I really do love a vanilla, but lately the different ones coming out, I've just, I don't know, made my stomach turn a little sideways sometimes. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at you, Caramel Skin. This one was a toughie for me. I do want to give some quick thoughts on the Sabrina Carpenter Cherry Baby as well, because this did, I think it sold out initially, but it did come back in stock. You know, this is a cherry heavy scent, and I didn't know if it was gonna be like a cherry version of Sweet Tooth or be its own thing in like a cherry bottle that's similar, you know? And I have to say, definitely cherry forward. This is not a cherry version of Sweet Tooth. So if you were hoping for that creamy, decadent vanilla, that's not what you're getting. You need to love cherry to like this fragrance. It's straight up cherry and almost fermented smelling. It's very interesting. Definitely a little bit different. And for this price point, you know, this is $30 for this size. I think it's the 1 ounce. Yeah, 30 mil. And I do think that some people are gonna like it if you love cherry, but if you don't love cherry, I don't know if it's gonna be for you. These are the notes. Top notes: cherry, brown sugar, apple, plum. Middle notes: dark chocolate, red poppy, vanilla orchid, peony. And then in the base, cashmere wood, amber, musk, patchouli, resin. You know, it's interesting. The poppy note kind of gave me this idea of scarlet poppy from Jo Malone, and this feels like the cherry, almost like fizzy seltzer version of that fragrance. I could definitely see that. There is something kind of a little waxy going on with this cherry as well, but again, there is this like almost boozy alcoholic fermentation happening as well. I don't exactly know where that's coming from. I think this is a fine fragrance. Again, for the price, I appreciate a celebrity fragrance that's not too expensive and more affordable. And it's definitely not unpleasant in any way. It's just gonna be who it's gonna be for. So if you love a cherry note, definitely might be one to check out. But if you're hoping for Sweet Tooth, the cherry version, I don't feel like that's what this is. So just a little warning on that. So those are some reviews on the new stuff that's come out into my collection since my last video. I'm really trying to parse out how much is just being overly excited and having my own thoughts of what something's gonna smell like before I even smell it, and how much the marketing goes into that. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna just try to lower my expectations. That's what I gotta say. So that way I don't get too disappointed, and hopefully can have more clarity in that. But I also feel like, you know, the marketing went hard on this one, and I don't know. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts, because we all smell things differently and not all fragrances are gonna be for everyone. But I will say the new Lake and Sky 1111 vanilla. This one has definitely been growing on me. I got a dent going. It's just been a nice, easy reach. It's clean and fresh, slightly sweet, and I've just really enjoyed this one. Definitely, if this sounds good, this is what you actually want to smell like, to me anyway. That's what I think. So anyway, I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on these fragrances. Let me know. Did you love them? Did you not? Now that they're actually out, but I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.